Good morning, everyone. So, I am Marc Andrei Bermundo, the leader of the first group of 12 STEM Archimedes. So, we will be presenting our research title entitled MonSAY, evaluating the impact of using different semantic terms in describing health protocols to students' pandemic awareness. So, let's go to the background of the study. So, next slide.
So the problem in this background. Good morning, everyone. I'm Batugal. So I'm presenting the introduction. So first, the introduction. So health consumers, especially those who are still studying, often have difficulty expressing and comprehending medical concepts. In particular, we can see that the health professionals have a big discrepancy in their vocabulary compared to students like us, which all of us are called medical consumers for. We are the one who requires help like that. So, which they this gap may hinder effective communication between the two groups, affecting consumer self information and seeking and ensuing decision marking regarding their health issues and their pandemic awareness. So, simply put, because of this discrepancy, it could cause mass confusion to the public, especially uh, some terms are incomprehensible and some terms require a professional background. Next, please.
Okay. Um, for the study, the main question which will serve as the proponent's guide is as follows. Does the usage of numerous terminologies in defining the imposed health protocols have an impact on the students of Ramon Magsaysay Cubao High School? To support this, the main question also has a set of related questions which are the following. Number one, what are the perspectives of the students of Ramon Magsaysay Cubao High School to the terminologies given by the World Health Organization before and during the lockdown implemented worldwide that is caused by COVID-19? Number two, does the usage of terminologies given worldwide by the WHO satisfy the need for knowledge about the pandemic to high school students? Number three, what are the perspectives of the students of Ramon Magsaysay Cubao High School to the terminologies given by the IATF or the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases and the Department of Health before the lockdown in the Philippines caused by COVID-19? Number four, what are the perspectives of the students of RMCHS to the terminologies given by the IATF, EID, and the DOH during the lockdown in the Philippines caused by COVID-19? Number five, does the usage of terminologies given worldwide by the IATF and DOH satisfy the need for knowledge about the pandemic to high school students? And lastly, what could be recommended to the parties involved, including the WHO and the IATF as well as the DOH, in order for these terminologies to be effectively distributed to high school students and, by extension, people of all ages? The envisioned research objectives for the study are the following. Number one, this study delivers a discussion of having knowledge on terminologies in a time where lockdowns are prevalent and dissemination of accurate information is crucial. Second, the study reflects on the substantial effects of the usage of numerous health protocol terminologies on the students' level of pandemic awareness to the government as well as the scientific community. And third, this study is essential to the benefit not only to the students of RMCHS, but also to the general public as it is oriented on semantics and the usage of different terminologies in a time of community quarantine prevalence. For its significance, the researchers envision that the study should elevate questions about the nature of consumer health vocabularies, which have implications both theoretical and practical, for bridging the gap of medical vocabulary between students and professionals to help increase the students' pandemic awareness, helping them disseminate and relay information, accurate information to the greater public. Marjorie Jalandoni and Jemalyn Avila will take you through the studies framework.
Okay, thank you. For the theoretical framework, with the root cause of the current pandemic is the unnatural spread of a new disease unknown to humanity. It has not only wreaked havoc by affecting the physical health of people worldwide, but also raised the foundations of another form of misunderstanding of the civilians to different technical and legal terms that have been utilized in official governmental guidance, media reports, and throughout the general public with respect to the 2019 NCOV and the resulting of COVID-19 or the coronavirus disease 2019. The National Cancer Institute, or NCI, defines in their dictionary that the term health protocol as a detailed plan of a scientific or medical experiment, treatment, or procedure. In clinical trials, it states what the study will do, how it will be done, and why it is being done. It explains how many people will be in the study, who is eligible to take part in it, what study drugs or other interventions will be given, what tests will be done, and how often, and what information will be collected. Uh, while there are many theories regarding on how to deal with the effects of the virus in a scientific manner, the purpose of this paper is aiming towards the knowledge of the terminologies released by both international and local sources. And therefore, the theory of health literacy is more relevant to the current study. By definition, health literacy is linked to the literacy and entails people's knowledge, motivation, and competence to access, understand, appraise, and apply health information in order to make judgments and take decisions in everyday life, considering healthcare, disease prevention, and health promotion to maintain or improve quality of life during the life course. The framework also reflects how factors external to the individual, for instance, the family, settings, community, culture, and media, influence the construct and relations represented in the framework. As you can see in our PowerPoint, the framework is organized into four primary components. The first one is factors that influence the development and use of health literacy skills. Second is health-related stimuli. Third, health literacy skills needed to comprehend the stimulus and perform the task. Lastly, the mediators between health literacy and health outcomes. Um, for the conceptual framework, this is for Jamalyn.
For the conceptual framework, first is using various semantic terms in describing health protocols to students' pandemic awareness. It negatively affects the students' understanding, perceptions, level of awareness, and also how they would use it in everyday life. How will they obey rules if they weren't aware of the various semantic terminologies during this pandemic? The negative affects the students of these terminologies, for example, MGCQ, MECQ, TARAJ, and more terms that they may get confused with. It seems that they are naive in using these various semantic terminologies. And lastly, it is a new term. Since it is a new term, many of the students will find its meaning on the internet. For them to use it properly to avoid confusion, to avoid bewildering expression or actions like I have said earlier. The impacts would lead to negative or in contrast actions or response, like not obeying the government and World Health Organization's health safety protocols. And if we evaluate those terms, the students will get the positive benefits. First, they will become aware of every terms to obey rules and regulations. Second, they will prevent themselves from the virus. And lastly, they can share it with others to become knowledgeable and to increase their awareness.
So research design. The design approach of the study entitled MonSAY Evaluating the Impact of Using Various Semantic Terms in Describing Health Protocols to Students in Pandemic Awareness is quantitative. Since, since it focuses more on the ability to complete the statistical analysis, a survey research design a survey research design was employed in this study. to establish a foundation in finding out the effects of using various terms for health protocols, to their cognizance, to the events of during the pandemic caused by COVID-19. To give a light to its definition, survey research design is an extensive cross-sectional approach where a number of cases are considered at a particular time and the data is gathered to study the opinions, behaviors, attitudes, habits, desires, values, and beliefs.
For scope and limitation, this study is focused foremost among the population of the students of Ramon Magsaysay Cubao High School located in Cubao, Quezon City. A sample of 120 students, with 20 of them coming from a grade level of the school, were surveyed. And for the senior high school department, the 20 respondents each came from a variety of tracks and strands. Moreover, the researchers also had to contend with time limitations since the students in grade 12 were already graduating and the students and since it's already end of the school year and there there are more activities to comply and attend. The researchers compensated for these limitations by diligently covering the lack of responses by diligently asking the students to answer the survey. By the creation of this research, a lot of valid sources were already available of the internet pertaining the matter of this topic. So this research has the opportunity to focus only on the perspectives of the students regarding the issue of using varied jargon in response to spreading information to combat the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay. The research instrument used for this study is a survey questionnaire prepared by the researchers using Google Forms. Google Forms is a free server tool that is part of the Google Suite, commonly known as Google Docs, which is Google's very own office suite that can collect information from people via personalized quizzes or surveys. The content of the survey is meant to determine the effect of using different jargon for the terminologies of health protocols mandated by the World Health Organization and spearheaded in the Philippines by the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases and the Department of Health to their awareness and happenings during the current pandemic. The chosen population for this study are the junior high school and senior high school students of Ramon Magsaysay Cubao High School, which is located in the heart of Cubao, an area inside the 4th District of Quezon City. The researchers have decided that the said population is the best in studying to determine and evaluate measures, some of the terminologies that are already officially given by the WHO before and during the lockdown and quarantine protocols that happen worldwide to spread the information campaign about the COVID-19 virus and the current pandemic. For this study, the researchers would pick out 120 students, which will then be divided into 20 people from various grade levels in the said population for obtaining the sample size. These are mainly for the reasons: one, the population of the selected respondents is manageable enough for the current study, and number two, for the ease of the sampling for the chosen population or respondents. Mary Joy Jalandoni will take you through the study sampling technique and data gathering procedures.
For the sampling technique that will be used in this study is stratified sampling, basically a type of probability sampling. In probability sampling, everyone has an equal chance of being selected. This scheme is one in which every unit in the population has a chance, which is greater than zero, of being selected in the sample. Stratified sampling is the most effective method when the study requires to get a representative sample of a population, where it involves categorizing the members of the population into mutually exclusive and collectively exhausted groups. An independent simple random sample is then drawn from each group Stratified sampling technique provides more precise estimates if the population being surveyed is more heterogeneous than the categorized group. These techniques also can enable the researcher to determine desired levels of sampling precisions for each group and can provide administrative efficiency. Next slide. For the data gathering procedures, for for the data gathering procedure of our study, it will be done by using survey questionnaires as the research instrument, which is hosted via Google Forms. This online survey that the this online survey that the researchers did is then separated by 7 parts. Next. For the first part, which is known as the introductory part, um, it was being um, eh, it was being done along with the disclaimer about the privacy policy of the online survey hosting, as you can see in our slide. Next. The second part is the collection of the demographic profiles of the respondents, which is meant to be sorted out of the survey hits the desired number of the respondents. Um, it includes the name, gender, grade level, and strand. Next slide. For the third part of our survey, it is all about the terminologies that are officially released by the World Health Organization in their information campaign about the COVID-19 pandemic before and during the lockdown. The following terms that are utilized for this section of the survey is collected from some of the terminologies found in the glossary of terms about the pandemic that was continually published online by WebMD. Some of the questions are you familiar with the term pandemic? Are you familiar with the term coronavirus? Are you familiar with the term respiratory illness and etc.? Next slide, please. For the fourth and fifth part of the survey for this study is similar to the third part. However, it focused on the same assemblage of scenarios that will let the respondents to choose their response constructed on their understanding on some of the terminologies that are given by the authorities of the Philippines before and during the lockdown to handle the dissemination of knowledge to the Filipino people in the form of the interagency task force on emerging infectious disease and the Department of Health or DOH. The given circumstances of the fourth and fifth part of the slide is listed below. These are the sample. Are you familiar with the term career? Are you familiar with the term coronavirus disease? Are you familiar with the term epidemic? Are you familiar with the term incubation period and etc.? The sixth part is the part of verification of consents and authorization for the online survey that was being conducted by the researchers for this study, along with the reiteration of the privacy policy of the online survey hosting in accordance to the regulation of Republic Act 10173 or the Data Privacy Act of 2012, whereas the survey respondent has the right to do the necessary activities in their information. That's all.
So that is for the introduction and background of the study of our topic and up to the methodology of our topic. So that's all. So we'll be flashing our references for our study. So thank you. The paper for this study will be posted on Google Classroom. So I will be sharing a link to our Microsoft SharePoint account and folder. So in order for you guys to see the paper. Thank you.